And we're back. There it is. Tallinn in Estonia. You're looking at a feed now from the sky of the beautiful city, the host city of World Cleanup Day 2024, and where it all began back in 2018. It's incredible to be here all these years later. My name is Colin Flynn, and it is great to be here with you. We still have 1 hour left on the show, but still the cleaning will be going on much beyond that. But we've got countries to check in with as we follow the green wave as it goes right across the planet. And let's take a look at the map now of the world and see how we're doing. We started very early this morning, 6 a.m. Estonian time. We started in Australia, and then we moved across Eastern Europe, Kazakhstan. We checked in with Ukraine. We checked in with parts of Europe. We were in Norway. We were in Sweden. We were in France. We went to Angola in Africa. We went to loads of different parts of the world, and then we're heading over to the west, and we're going to be checking in with the United States, with Latin America, and with Canada as well. So lots still to come, but now I've been told by Mark in my ear. Yes, Mark, where are we going now? Yes, we have a video from an ambassador now. This is a video that we got just a few days ago. Yes, this is an incredible story. Johan Erb is a very unique guy because he is not only an actor in Hollywood, but he's someone who really tries to link inner cleanup with outer cleanup. What does that mean? Marilyn here at World Cleanup Day. Talk to him to find out more.
Hello, my beautiful friends. My name is Johan Erb. I am the creator and the founder of the Pure Breath Method and an ambassador for the World Cleanup Day. I believe that the inner and the outer worlds are very much correlated. And the reason why we're seeing so much pollution in the outer world is because there's also a lot of pollution in our inner world. And when we begin to take action in one direction, whether it's the inner or the outer world, we also affect change in both directions. So will you please join us on this journey of becoming the change, the transformation that you wish to see and experience in the world? I believe that we are the ones that we have been waiting for to create this change. And I promise you that when we get together, this change is empowering, it is fun, it is beautiful, and everybody benefits. Wouldn't it be amazing if all of nature was like this, and also our inner nature was like this, where the air is clean, the sky is blue, the green is everywhere, the life force is present. And we can only do it when we join hands, we join forces, we join in breath and intention to create this. Join me and join the World Cleanup Day to create the most profound, most beautiful, most effective and profound change in the world. I'll see you there.
What a calming voice. That's a bit of ASMR for you there. Johan Erb. Is that how you pronounce his name? My Estonian friends?
Johan Erb.
Johan Erb. Okay, fantastic. A Hollywood actor from Estonia who is very much into connecting an inner cleanup with an outer cleanup. And that was a little video message from him. We'll have a longer interview with him later in the program from Maryland. You're watching the World Cleanup Day, coming to you from Estonia. We're going to cross live to Brazil in just a moment. But first, we have this video message from Brazil before we do the live interview. Take a look at this.
Se essas cenas lhe causaram estranheza, repulsa, não vamos deixar que essas aqui virem paisagem. Faça a sua parte, para que o lixo não vire decoração da natureza. Participe do Limpa Brasil e abra espaço para a vida. Saiba mais em limpabrasil.org.
All right, that is a little teaser of what's happening in Brazil. Let's cross now live to Edilena. Hello, Edilena in Brazil. Hi, Brazil. How are you?
Hi. It's me, Marta Rosa, and Edilene Muniz.
It's nice to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Where are you?
Pleasure staying here with you.
Where are you at the moment, and what is happening?
Yeah, we is a meeting.
Oh, look at this. What's going on? Are you going to gate crash a meeting, or? Well, yes, you can whisper. This is just between you and me. We won't tell anybody. But where are you, and what's happening? Okay, we have to be quiet. You know, we have to kind of talk in this. That's how it works. Now, you got a nice finger. I like your finger. I like your hand. we can see that you're having a press conference there. The crew are all laughing around here. That's very good. There's a conference going on, but can you step outside and talk to us for a moment about what's happening, how the cleanup is? Look, follow the finger. Follow the finger.
We was in a meeting.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Who is that person? Tell them to get out of our way. Hey, turn the camera on you and tell us how it's been going so far. Yay! So how has the cleanup been going so far in Brazil? Tell us.
We have a lot of people here, and now we go to the street. And now we in a meeting with the people, and now we go to the street to begin the action.
And
yes,
when you look at the streets in Brazil, because in different countries we find different problems, what is the problem with littering and waste in Brazil? What kind of materials are you seeing there?
Here, education. We need education. The people is being conscious about where you put the trash. You know, this is big problem here.
So you need
future is change.
Okay, that's very good. Yeah, to change the mindset of people, to change the attitudes towards littering and towards waste.
Yeah, okay. Of course.
And who is that person standing behind you? Are they a friend of yours?
It's Adeline.
And you're involved in let's.
She's speaking Portuguese.
Ah.
Desafio. Estamos aqui agora fazendo uma abertura oficial. A gente tem aqui o representante do Poder Público, Secretaria de Saúde, Secretaria de Limpeza Urbana, a gente tem a Associação Brasileira de Municípios, a gente tem o SEBRAE também, que representa comércio, e agora a gente está indo para as ruas, a gente vai fazer uma ação simbólica de abertura oficial da campanha aqui no Brasil. A gente está indo fazer o mutirão de limpeza. A gente está aqui numa região do Brasil, na cidade de São Paulo, que é chamado Bom Retiro, que é um bairro que tem uma comunidade coreana também muito grande. Inclusive, o cônsul da Coreia está aqui com a gente agora. E a gente vai fazer essa ação, né, convocando aí a sociedade civil para limpar e aí abrindo oficialmente as ações aqui do Brasil.
Obrigado. I do not speak Portuguese, but I can say obrigado. Thank you for that. That was for our Portuguese audience there. Thank you so much, guys. And I know you have to go back into the meeting. Finally, what are they talking about in that meeting right now? What's going on?
We stay, the people here is organization, you know? It's a big action in the street.
Oh, so they're organizing everything before they go out to the street.
Yes.
I dare you to go into the meeting and say, "Let's do it, Brazil."
Let's do it, Brazil. Let's go.
That's the closest we're going to get. All right, our friends in Brazil, thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of World Cleanup Day. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Everybody, bye. Ciao.
That's fantastic. That is Edilena there from Brazil. And I think before we leave Brazil, we have another video to bring you from the country. That was a lot of fun. That was the best live link I've ever done. Let's stick with Brazil and take a look at this next video clip.
Todos os dias, nós produzimos cerca de 3,5 milhões de toneladas de lixo. Grande parte desse material é descartado de forma incorreta, poluindo cidades, rios, mares, comprometendo a natureza e o nosso futuro. Só existe uma maneira de inverter esse processo: fazer a sua parte e engajar outras pessoas. Para isso, foi criado o Pacto 2050. Faça a diferença. Junte-se a nós.
Thank you very much, Brazil. We'll continue checking in with countries in Latin America and the United States later in the programme. If you just joined us, this is the World Cleanup Day show. My name is Colm. We're coming live from Tallinn in Estonia on the Baltic Sea. Now, one of our big partners and people that really support us, and we support them, is Earth Day in the United States. It's kind of similar to World Cleanup Day in that they pick one day a year and they try and get everyone to focus on the planet, on the Earth, in different ways that they can try and help it. One of the people working for them is Michael, and our own Madeline took a few minutes to speak to him the other day about our collaboration and the things that they are focusing on.
Hello, now we're dialing into the US and we have Michael on the line who is working with Earth Day. Hello, Michael.
Hi, Marilyn. How are you doing today?
I'm really good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me and excited to be here.
Absolutely, absolutely welcome. So maybe we can start with you just telling a little bit about Earth Day and what's your role there.
Yes, so I'm Michael Carpedian. I run the Great Global Cleanup at earthday.org. And if you don't know, earthday.org is an international NGO. Started back in 1970 with the very first Earth Day, where 20 million Americans marched across the United States. And after that day led to a lot of environmental policies and a lot of environmental change in the United States. And from that movement, our organization grew, and now today, almost 55 years later, next year will be our 55th anniversary. We have partners in 192 countries, and we have staff in India, Africa, Europe, South America, and of course, we're based in Washington, D.C.
Amazing. Thank you for that intro. And also, I know that you're really involved with global cleanups and also especially with like plastic waste and so on. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about this and also how is Earth Day partnering with World Cleanup Day this year, and what are you guys doing during the World Cleanup Day?
Yes, so as I mentioned, I lead the Great Global Cleanup, and our goal is to rid the environment of waste and plastic pollution for good. And we do that primarily through connecting with cleanup organizations all over the world and giving them the resources they need to be successful on Earth Day and World Cleanup Day, which is coming up. And of course, we're super stoked to be partnering with Let's Do It World. This is a continuation of our partnership over multiple years, and we're really excited to be partnering with you guys, as what you do in September is absolutely huge with having millions of people around the world pick up trash. And something that I really love about what you guys do and what your mission is activating that 5% of people around the world to create that permanent change. And I know you guys talk about it all the time. When you get 5% of a population to take that step and go pick up trash or take care of their community, it tends to lead the rest of the population in that direction as well. And that's something that we're also trying to do. Of course, our main day is Earth Day, but we like to say it's Earth Day every single day. So we're trying to inspire people to get involved and be part of the environmental movement through cleanups every single day throughout the year.
Absolutely. This is a huge thing for us as well. That it definitely should not be just a single day when people are taking care of the earth and picking up the trash, but it should really be something it's just like our second nature, how we behave as human beings. So, and also from our side, like it's super exciting to be collaborating with Earth Day, because it's like two giant movements and organizations coming together and really uniting, and this creates much bigger awareness and kind of much bigger movement, and engages many more people globally. So we're also really excited to have this partnership already going for years. So maybe you can dive a little bit deeper into the whole plastic thing and how perhaps you're especially focused on the kind of plastic problem, especially during that World Cleanup Day?
Yeah, definitely. Our theme this year was or is planet versus plastics. And so we have a huge focus on how plastics, of course, in fact, impact the environment, which you are all very familiar with, but also the health impacts of plastic pollution. And all this research is coming out about how how microplastics are in all of us. It's in our brain. I just read an article the other day about how our brain by volume is 0.5% plastic per I think they tested about 90 brains and that's what they found. And then those who had Alzheimer's actually had a higher amount of microplastics in their brain. So there's a lot of really, quite frankly, worrying amounts of data that's coming out about the health impacts of plastic pollution and even the chemicals that they use in plastic, such as bisphenol A, BPA, phthalates. They're all endocrine disruptors, meaning that they disrupt the hormonal cycle in humans, which leads to a lot of issues, especially with development in children, fertility. And we're seeing those issues more and more now. So we're really focused on the health impacts of plastic pollution. And it's really important that individuals can be part of the environmental movement, get involved through cleanups to protect their community from these from plastics and how they harm communities, how they harm the environment, but also how they harm ourselves. But I think what's also really interesting for us is, taking it to that next level, right? We want people to get out there and get involved in cleanups, and it's really awesome that people do. And I love seeing the photos that come through of the organizations that we work with and how there's hundreds of people on beaches picking up trash. But we also want to take it to the next level and empower these organizations to be able to make the systematic change so that 20 years from now, we're not still in the waterways picking up trash. Eventually, we got to stop it. Otherwise, we're going to be picking up trash for the rest of our lives. So I think, what we're excited about this is, giving these people, first off, to get people involved in the environmental movement, to get people in that 5%, cleanups are a phenomenal way to do that and actually a really fun way to do it. But then it's empowering those individuals to take that next step to make that systematic change in their communities.
Yes, absolutely. I 100% agree with you. And I think we really have to go to the root at the end of the day, not just deal with the symptoms, which is the trash. So really changing the way we use resources and how actually things are manufactured, et cetera, et cetera. So 100% with you there. So maybe you would like to share like the last message or something from the Earth Day from yourself to the global community or doing cleanups out there.
Yes, to the global community, and I know it's a very, very large global community. My message is so excited to join you this September. I'm going to be doing a cleanup, and I hope everyone who's watching this is out there going to pick up trash. And as you pick up that trash, just remember, what is that bigger mission, that next step, so that next year you're picking up even less trash, and the year after that you're picking up even less trash. And how do you get your community involved to do that? And I'm very excited to see how impactful this year is. So thank you so much, Marilyn, for having me.
Thank you very much, Marilyn, talking to Michael from Earth Day in the USA. Now, staying in the United States of America, we're going to talk to our fantastic ambassadors there, the people who lead Let's Do It in the USA, Bill and Steve. They're two characters who have become beloved members of the World Cleanup Day family, and their slogan is one that is repeated always by the network everywhere in the world. And they say, if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. So let's go over and hear a video message from Bill and Steve.
Hi, I'm Steve. And I'm Bill. From World Cleanup Day and
National Cleanup
Day. Yes, we have both of them here. So we are coming in from San Diego, California today.
But this is a worldwide event of 98 countries, plus all the 58 states and inhabited territories.
Exactly. So it includes a UN Awareness Day this year for the first year, and we thank everybody that's going off and doing cleanups all over the United States.
Like these people here, they're so nice.
Exactly. Yeah, all over the United States and all over the world. So what do you guys say about World Cleanup Day today?
Well, What are they going to say?
I don't know. What do you guys want to say?
Are you glad you're participating in it?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Exactly. Are you guys having fun?
Yes.
Okay. So if you're having fun,
And that means
and
we're doing
it
it
right. So say World Cleanup Day. So on 3. Actually, why don't you say do the count? 1, 2, 3. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
World Cleanup Day.
Bill and Steve, thank you so much, and good luck with the rest of the day as you clean up. And we will have more on social media, I'm sure, from Bill and Steve over the next day or two as they organise and they group and they get their people together. Two fantastic guys who do so much, give so much enthusiasm year on year to the World Cleanup Day effort in the United States of America. Now, our next guest is a man that I spoke to just a few days ago, a very interesting chap. He is an expert in marine conservation. He is a captain. His name is Charles Moore. He runs the Moore Lab, and he has been dedicating his entire professional life really to this cause. So when he talks, you listen because he knows what he's talking about. Here is our enlightening and fascinating interview with Mr. Charles Moore. Charles, it's good to have you on the program, and thank you so much for doing this interview.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
If we had to describe the problem of plastics in the ocean and in the world, how would you describe it in one word?
Awful.
When did it become awful? How long has it been awful for? And what do we do about it?
Well, it's taken a century to reach the level that climate change reached in over 2 centuries. In other words, the acceleration has been more rapid because plastic came on the scene at a higher stage of industrial development. So civilization had already reached the point where it was polluting with all kinds of other materials by the time plastic became a major pollutant. And it also turned out that in order for petroleum to succeed in being the most dominant economic force on the planet, it had to pivot from petroleum as fuel to petroleum as plastic, because petroleum as fuel was being displaced by the electronics revolution. And that meant that petroleum had to look for other ways to sell its product. And the way that has materialized is plastic. And plastic, and that's why it's more advantageous for it to have externalities and be thrown away and not be able to be recovered than it is advantageous for it to be recovered and reused. It has its own drivers, and those drivers have resulted in a world in which plastic has invaded the entire biosphere, from the macro scale to the micro scale to the nano scale. We now have plastic everywhere, and that includes outer space and Earth orbit. There are trillions of pieces of plastic in Earth orbit, and it's made it so that special programs have to be developed to determine when a rocket ship can be launched in order to avoid plastic trash in orbit. We have plastic in the air. Plastic is one of the first things that deposits on oceanic islands that are new volcanic islands. When we get down to our ocean, our mother ocean, which is the receiving body for all these plastics end up in the ocean because the ocean is downhill from everywhere else. All this precipitation, everything, the things that burn up in the atmosphere, those things all go down into the ocean, and the ocean is the receiving body for all these plastics. So I believe now that the ocean is so full, chock full of plastic, that it's become more dangerous for animal life in the ocean than anywhere else. The problems that we see from climate change with migration are paled by the problems we see with suffocation, strangulation, and ingestion of plastics in the ocean. We have data, papers, scientific papers showing that birds are becoming smaller and sicker because of ingesting plastic from foraging in the ocean, and fish. Some species of fish have been demonstrated to become smaller and sicker from foraging plastics in the ocean. So we're under a plastic attack. We're in a resistance movement. We've got to resist. When we're under attack, you have to mount defenses. And one of the defenses that we'll be mounting on World Cleanup Day is just to get that crap out of the environment. Put it somewhere else. Even if it has to be a landfill, it's better than having it be in the environment, because it's murderous, it's killing, and it's making us sick. So I can't emphasize enough how important it is to get plastic out of our biosphere. And anything we can do, especially with regards to organizing the world, as in World Cleanup Day, to get that plastic away from our bodies and the bodies of other living things, and that includes plants, is extremely important.
Hey, Charles, you know, when you mentioned the biggest culprits are the petroleum industry and then those who produce single-use plastics, what do you say to those manufacturers who say, well, hang on a second, we produce these goods and products in plastic because that's the demand. It sets it at a certain price. People want it. There's a demand. We don't want them to pollute it. We want them to recycle, but it's not our fault they're taking our bottles and they're discarding of them and throwing them in the ocean. That's the people, the consumers' fault, not the manufacturers.
There's an impossible contradiction there when you want something to be benign by design and the design is for waste. They're designing for waste. They have no responsibility for the externalities of waste. Their maximum profits come as they waste away our resources in impossible to recycle items. They are not creating items that are benign by design. The demand we place on those polluters is you must design so that it's a circular economy with your product, that it has a reuse value, that it is part of a circular economy. We don't have that anywhere in the plastics industry, and all their rhetoric is camouflage and subterfuge and diversion. It just has no relevance to the true need to make plastics benign by design. We're going to be using plastics, but they must have an aspect of being benign. That's our demand. Our demand is you must not make it if it can't be recycled, can't be reused, can't be part of a circular economy. If it is going to end up in the environment almost on purpose by design because that maximizes profits, then you must be curtailed. It's a wild economic model that demands curtailing and moderating, but it won't be curtailed and moderated because the idea that you're going to tell middle class and aspiring middle class people from India not to use a sachet, or people from Indonesia not to use a small packet of sauce because that's all they can afford. It goes against the desires of those new populations that are surging into middle class status to obtain middle class status. So we're not creating the preconditions for sustainability. We're advancing against sustainability, and we know from our research at the Moore Institute for Plastic Pollution Research that an increase in plastic production of any kind of plastic makes for an increase in pollution of the environment at a 1-to-1 correspondence. The more we make, the more we pollute. That's been demonstrated over and over again. So we can't curtail production. They won't curtail it. China, India, United States, Russia, all will be tending to veto any measures by the treaty, the Scientist Coalition for Effective Plastics Treaty. Any of those major players want more production, and we know more production equals more pollution. So the veto power of the big players makes it impossible for us to do anything but clean up, which is really not what we want to be doing, but it's what we have to do.
And that's the plastic that we can see, Charles, and we've all been there where you're at the beach or you see a lovely stream or a canal and then your heart sinks when you see kind of a dirty patch of plastic gathering in the corner or whatever. And that's very obvious because you can see it with the naked eye. But when you talk about microplastics and nanoplastics, I remember when I was growing up, we were always told that plastic doesn't degrade, it doesn't break down, it remains the same forever. But when it gets into the ocean, is it that particles and molecules are seeping off it into the water, and how does it work?
Well, you're right about it remaining forever, but it remains forever as what we know as a polymer. And a polymer means a monomer or a single molecule that has been linked together by a catalyst to make a polymer, a chain. And this chain can be broken. It's called chain scission. And when the chains are broken, that doesn't mean that the polymer has gone away. It just means that the length that the polymer has shortened. But you're starting out with molecular weights in the 20,000 range, and until it gets down under 500, it doesn't really become biodegradable. So many of these compounds will be around forever, especially the ones that are in the deep ocean where there's no biological activity that will break them down. So they will break into smaller and smaller particles, but it turns out that these polymers, even though they're broken into smaller and smaller bits of the polymer chain, they're still polymers. So I'm not optimistic. Where I find optimism is in the third world and looking at areas that are still under the control of indigenous populations that haven't gotten destroyed by the plastic attack, that don't have plastics everywhere in their environment. We need to keep those areas as pristine as possible. We need to form a resistance movement, or what I will call hope spots, areas of the world where plastic has not yet invaded, because it's invading everywhere, and we need to find that area. So as you're cleaning up and thinking about World Cleanup Day, think about finding an area where you don't need to do that, where you can actually call it a hope spot, a spot where you can resist the intrusion of plastic, find out why it's not there now, find out how you can keep it from getting there, and fight like hell to keep it from invading that part of the world that is still more or less plastic free.
To be able to reduce our reliance and use of plastic to a level where it is not polluting nearly as much as it is today, do you think, Charles, it is realistic, an obtainable goal, or is it pie in the sky? Because even when as we're chatting here, this microphone, I'm just looking at it, is made of plastic. The cable is made of plastic going into a plastic mixer. Your laptop I'm speaking to you now on, I'm sure, is made of plastic. Is there a better alternative we can use? That just the demand for the products we have need to be made out of a material that we can get.
The invasion of the biosphere by synthetic polymers that we're experiencing is a result of advanced industrial civilization. So it turns out that advanced industrial civilization wasn't all it's cracked up to be. There are sustainable cultures still on the earth that need to be supported. We may end up being unable to save ourselves, and we want to be able to have others that can survive in this world if it turns out that we don't have the ability to reduce plastic production and consumption and pollution. And the demand for it is there, but in terms of the reality, the economics are not there, and there is no major economic power adopting circularity with any degree of importance.
It's all about the money, as they say, Charles. And with that, we'll leave it there. And I want to say thank you so much for taking the time and for supporting the World Cleanup Day.
Of course, we support World Cleanup Day. I was in Estonia for one of the very first ones, and still maintain connections and hope that, as in spite of the fact that what we call an end of the pipe solution is cleanup, we've got to have some kind of a solution. And if we can start at the end of the pipe, and that's the only way we're allowed to work, that's where we will work, and we'll organize the world, and we'll make the world clean itself up.
That's awesome. Hey, Charles, you're fantastic. You're a star. The man is such a star, the super trooper is blinding me. We have to wear these glasses here, and the stars all around me. Name, location, where you're from, date of birth, social security number.
Paul John Anthony Emmett from England, but living in Estonia.
Paul John Anthony Emmett, how do you plead?
100% guilty.
Guilty?
Yeah.
Guilty of being passionate about this cause. Now, you've been in Estonia for a while, living here. You were at the first National Cleanup Day in 2008.
2008, yeah, when the whole country came together and basically cleaned up the forests, the waterways, the beaches. And as you see, it's still clean.
What do you remember about that, about this idea and the initial stages of trying to get the whole nation together around one cause?
I mean, it was huge. You just couldn't avoid it. It was everywhere. Imagine now you have these campaigns for, new mobile phones or, new iPhone. It was like this. That campaign was that big and everybody knew about it and everybody was involved in it.
So it was everywhere all over the nation.
You couldn't miss it, yeah.
And so it worked. People got out and they took part.
Well, you were walking around in the streets today and, did you find any litter to pick up?
No, it's a very clean country.
And there's not as if there's lots of people going out picking up litter from the state either. I mean, people just don't litter here.
And do you think that shift in the mindset was down to the National Cleanup Day?
100%, yeah.
And what do you think? Because people were aware of cleanup movements before and environmental issues, but how did this change the paradigm?
I think it's, tipping point. Everybody probably read Malcolm Gladwell. They understand when certain mass of people get together and decide something, then things change in the society, and that's what happened here.
And it's probably one thing if you're aware that rubbish is on the ground, but then it's always someone else who takes it away. It's the the government.
I think the stigma is gone now. I mean, people see other people's rubbish, they'll pick it up. I mean, even my mum, when I go walking with her across the canal fields back in England or in the park, she sees a crisp wrapper or a beer can. Hey, Mum. She'll pick it up, she'll pick it up and she'll put it in a bin and she'll visibly do that and people will look at her, but they'll think, okay, maybe I shouldn't be dropping litter or maybe I should pick it up too. Why not?
Now, the interesting thing quickly that we were talking about before we started this was that you were there when it was a National Cleanup Day here in Estonia. You watched it for a decade, for 10 years, stay like that. But then in 2018, it went global and Estonia sent it out to the world. But you were making the point that here in Estonia, even it's a small country of 1.3 million people, they have a history and they have a mindset of wanting to do that, of pushing things out and going big.
Well, I was just drawing a comparison with the Singing Revolution or the Baltic Chain when everybody united in the Baltics. Because I think, I have to be fair, Latvia and Lithuania joined the cleanup, the national initiative, also very quickly. And it was really because the three Baltic nations did it together. Then other nations copied it, and then it became a worldwide movement. So I think, tiny Estonia can claim basically to be the birth of this national movement or this international movement. But they have a history of national movements with the other Baltic countries.
And maybe because having such a big imposing neighbour, you're forced to have that attitude of all for one and one for all.
Well, we have tribes for a reason, tribes. We're in a tribe to protect us. Sometimes we need it and sometimes we don't. And I think we're now one big tribe. I think we all need protecting now from people who create pollution, people who create litter, people who create waste, people who destroy, That way we are one tribe.
Well, hey, it's great that you've been involved in this movement from the very beginning here in Estonia on the national and now international level. It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool. You've been involved too. You've been popping up at the World Cleanup Day conferences pretty much since I can remember.
Every year when they think, who's the best person we can get to do this? We know someone brilliant and they call them, but they're not available. So then they go to the backup.
Come on, now.
And they contact the backup and they too are sick. And then they go down the list and eventually I get the call and here I am back again. But hey, great talking to you. And I know that our last guest, Charles Moore, you have interviewed him before for pieces that you've done.
Legend.
And also our next guest, which is Paul Martison, the Swede living in Indonesia.
Okay. I know Paul very well. Hi, Paul.
He's a bit of a legend.
He's a big legend.
Big legend. Well, let's hear from the big legend. This is a chat we had just the other day. He's in Indonesia and he was talking about the problem of litter and plastic there in his country. Paul, it's great to see you. How are things going? You're in Bali at the moment, but I know you're based and from Sweden.
That's true. I've been here a few months now, not in Bali, but in West Sulawesi, and I'm on my way back to Europe now in Sweden, which is my home country.
Now tell us, this is a passion of yours that we have spoken about many times over the years, and this year we're focusing on marine biodiversity, particularly around the Arctic, and we've been talking to many different experts about the problem. From your perspective, you're a man who spends a lot of time in the water and around the oceans. Why is this a passion of yours?
It started actually when I was 15 years old and I signed on a ship. I was a sailor for 5 years, so I've been in the ocean a lot. And then I've been living on islands in the Philippines, in Indonesia. So I'm really connected to water. And I've seen the development, if we can call it like that, what's happening with the oceans. And it should not only be the ocean we should count. We should count the rivers as the coastline to every country also, because the rivers are the big polluters. 85-90% of all the plastic that ends up in the ocean comes from the rivers or from the land side.
So if it makes its way into the river, it's going to eventually make it into the ocean.
Yeah, that's true. And when the plastic hits the ocean, it takes a long time to degrade it. And finally, it becomes this microplastic we all know about. We all know that we are eating it because the fish is eating it and so on. So we cannot avoid it. We are stuck with it and we cannot do very much about it more than we can do a few things, which is important because it has a very good value and brings people together, like a cleanup, for example, which is a great thing to do to bring a little bit of awareness to people to see and grab the things, make a waste audit and see where are the products coming from, how does it work? And then you also get a good picture of the world because you see how all the streams in the water goes and it ends up in Asia and mostly where I've been living in Indonesia because we are one of the worst polluted countries in the world when it comes to the beaches.
Wow. And from the age of 15, when you had that love of the ocean and marine life, did you see over the years more and more pollution in the water, or was it always there and you just became more aware of it?
I would tell you the story about 1947. The Norwegian scientist Thor Heyerdahl built a raft by balsa tree and went over the ocean. He reported and took water sample. The water was perfect. 1974, he built another raft by papyrus and went over the ocean again. And then he reported about oil spill, oil, small dumplings of oil big as fists. He saw them everywhere in the oceans. And then it was a little bit an awareness to people and to the industry and to everybody to see, well, something is happening in the ocean. What is this? How can we take care of it? What can we do about it? And then 2009, when the pictures come out from the Marshall Islands, from Charles Jordan's photos of the albatross, which is split up and we saw the bellies full of plastic, then people start to react because we cannot see animal suffer. We saw the turtles with the straws in the nostrils, and we saw the dolphins with fishing ears strangled and so on. So that brought plastic on the table for everybody, more or less. And then the big next thing happened was 2018 when China said, no, we not take your plastic anymore. We won't try to recycle your dirty plastic. So they say stop for import of it. Then we were stuck in each country with all our plastic and we had to find a solution. And then suddenly there were a few other countries in the Middle East, in the Southeast Asia that stepped up, Vietnam, Cambodia, Indonesia, and said, okay, we can take it. And they did it for a few years and now they also have enough of it.
Now, you mentioned the microplastics and the nanoplastics, which in many ways they're a more difficult thing to deal with than the bigger chunks of plastic that we can see with the naked eye that can be extracted and taken relatively easy if the will is there from the waterways and the oceans. But in terms of micro and nanoplastics, microscopic pieces of plastic that have infiltrated oceans and marine life around the world. How do we go about trying to tackle that?
That is a big problem, of course. We cannot avoid it. That's why we also, as we say, we eat plastic every day. And I'm not 100% sure that it is toxic for us. We don't know that yet. Maybe it is that we can eat plastic without having any big problem. I'm not sure about that yet. And then scientists are not sure about it because, the plastic has been on the market only for 70 years. It's a young material. And it is a material we never can get rid of. And it is a fantastic material. We need it in a modern society. And we need it in a different form because it's a complicated material. It's so mixed up and so many different kind of plastic. But if we could make a few good plastics, and we can take care of them in a proper way, then it's a fantastic material which we can use and have a lot of fun on. But the microplastic and the nanoplastic that is here already, it is here to stay. I don't think we can do very much about it.
It's here to stay. Okay, but the way to tackle this is at the source. So the nano and the microplastic that's in the water, fat chance of extracting that's there to stay. But at least we can go to the root of the cause and try and stop more plastics entering the waterways. Is that kind of where we're at the moment?
Yeah, there are filter systems, we are trying with a lot of different filter systems to clean it and do it the best we can. But it's also an expensive treatment. And it's not really high on the agenda because, people say a little bit plastic, it's not dangerous, and even scientists and of course, plastic producers, they are saying also it's not that bad, we're going to solve the problem, but the plastic production for the next coming years, it's the production volumes they are planning for, it's steeper than Mount Everest.
And what's the answer to the problem? Because we've passed the 8 billion mark of the population of the planet, especially in developing countries across Africa, across Asia, across Latin America, where people, want to increase their standard of living and come up to the levels that we've been able to obtain in the West. And they need cheap products. They need plastic. It's such a valuable and useful commodity. We've been able to reap the rewards of it. Why shouldn't they be able to do it as well now?
I'm telling you, since I've been living in Asia so many years, I would say plastic is everywhere. Everybody is using it. And when you talk about it, oh, it's so good, we need it, everything. The time when they have a PET bottle, they put the PET bottle in a plastic bag to keep the bottle because it has a value. And then they give you as a customer a plastic bag with a straw and so on. And everything, here is wrapped up. If I go and buy one bread, they put it in a plastic and then they put it in another plastic. Everywhere it is plastic. It's incredible, and I think it's a very, very, very long way to get rid or to have a more sustainable way to take care of it here. And we also have this, what you call the sacket economy, where they have you buy the shampoo and you buy the detergent in small sackets, all made of plastic. So it is a huge problem and it has to be a changed production. That is the only way.
Now, you always say, love your job, love what you do. And it's your famous line. And Paul, you are optimistic. You mentioned it a minute ago that you're optimistic and hopeful about the future. What gives you that optimism and that hope?
Because we love to live. We love life. That's why we're going to solve it. We solved all the problems over time, more or less. We've been here for a couple of 100,000 years, and we will continue. So the globe is doing fine, but as George Carlin said, the people are.
Well, good to get the close-up of the finger there as well. Well, Paul, it's been great talking to you, and thank you for all your support and help with World Cleanup Day over the years. There in Indonesia, but also back home in Sweden. Your passionate help is appreciated. So thank you so much and enjoy the World Cleanup Day.
Yes, I will. Take good care and I see you soon.
We love your job.
We love your job.
Paul is fantastic. Thank you so much, Paul, for your encouragement and for that great interview. And good luck with everything in Indonesia and back home in Sweden. Now, we are moving swiftly on because we have a few more countries to hit before we end these broadcasts for World Cleanup Day. And next, we're heading to Andrew Roll. Andrew is one of the great passionate people behind Let's Do It in the Bahamas. And he has sent this video message to us. Andrew, over to you.
Major operation going on here. The pictures and videos will tell the story of what happened here today.
Island life, feeling fine. Rasta with the sunshine, mine. 3 islands singing true. Bahamas shout to all of you. Rasta brothers, sisters near. Impact done, let's give a cheer. World renowned, love so strong. Unity where we all belong. Conquer, conquer love. Thank you, Rasta from afar. 3 islands raise a tide. Bahamas and Rasta pride. Morning rise, Rasta tunes. Evening glow on the moons. Reggae beats fill the air. Vibes so sweet beyond compare. Respect, love, unity. Rasta power set us free. Proven in the island breeze. World renowned, it never ceases. Conquer, conquer love. Thank you, Rasta from afar. 3 islands raise a tide. Bahamas and Rasta pride. Conquer, conquer love. Thank you, Rasta from afar. 3 islands raise a tide. Bahamas and Rasta pride.
Andrew, for the graphics alone, we're giving you 10 points. That was incredible. And thank you for all the great work you do in the Bahamas. Such a wonderful work. And to see everyone there on the beaches. And you know what? It goes back to what Bill and Steve said in the United States. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. And you could see from the enthusiasm there and from the looks in everyone's face, they're certainly having fun in the Bahamas. And what a beautiful place to be doing the cleanup. And in a place like the Bahamas, you want to keep it clean. You want to keep it beautiful. Now we're heading from the Bahamas to Mexico, and they have been doing such an incredible job in Mexico. Hundreds of thousands of people mobilized to take part in the World Cleanup Day this year. And they have been able to send us a few video clips and a few photographs of how they've been getting on. Take a look at this.
Hello world, this is World Cleanup Day Mexico, and we wish you the best brigade this year.
Let's do it! Warner Bros. Discovery! Let's do it, NFU! Let's do it,
Hola, mi nombre es Cristal Flores y en Morelos, México, estamos listos para el World Cleanup Day 2024.
Let's do it,
¡Excelente!
Let's do it, NFU!
Hola, soy David Gómez, de Querétaro, y este Día Mundial de la Limpieza me voy a sumar porque quiero inspirar a más personas para poder cambiar nuestro mundo. Súmate, te esperamos.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Soy Hilda Margarita Castro Comachi de Tlaxcala, México, y estamos listos para el World Cleanup Day 2024. ¿Y tú? ¿Ya estás listo?
Dos.
Hola, mi nombre es Luciana Vázquez Otero. En Guerrero estamos listos para el Día Mundial de la Limpieza 2024.
Fantastic. Thank you to all our friends at Let's Do It Mexico for those beautiful video clips and pictures and greetings. And great to see so many people turning out. And as I mentioned before that, it's incredible to think hundreds of thousands of people. It has been such an incredible day, checking in with countries from Australia all the way over to the United States, everywhere in between, following the green wave. If you've just joined us or you've tuned in halfway through the broadcast, or maybe you're new to all of this and you're wondering, what's all this about? Who is Let's Do It? What is the World Cleanup Day? Well, very quickly, before we get an overview of what's been happening today, here's a short summary of what this is all about. That is incredible. Just some of the visuals from around the world as we celebrate the World Cleanup Day. And you know what? The images speak louder than words. And just when you see the faces and the places and the backgrounds, the races, the creeds, the cultures, from people picking up rubbish in the forest to cities to even in the desert, it's an incredible thing. And as we've passed through all the countries today, you hear about some of the challenges that they face. These could be environmental challenges with floods or with different storms, political challenges where people can't gather large crowds together, countries that are at war in Palestine or in Ukraine. It is incredible what people do part of the World Cleanup Day. Now I'm joined by some of our great team. Oh, hey everybody! They're standing to attention there in the back. Now, Annette and Ingrid, we're coming towards the end of the broadcast, but the World Cleanup Day goes on. More countries are cleaning and you'll be collecting more data. When you look back at what you've seen so far today at the World Cleanup Day 2024, any surprises or any standout moments?
Well, the day has been, first of all, an amazing day because so many people united again, like today and tomorrow and the whole next week as well. and seeing like everybody like in those videos in our studio, it has been really amazing. And I would say that the greatest thing probably was that everything went really smoothly.
Yeah, you've been smiling all day.
Yes,
which is a great
I'm really
thing.
happy.
And the amazing thing is that it's gone from being, it started off as a national day, then it became an international day, the World Cleanup Day, and now it's happening in some countries across a number of days, and even going into next week.
Yes, that's true. So at first the aim was that it's like a one-day project, basically, that we will do it one time, one day, and then it's it, like the world is clean. But for some reason it didn't go like that. So we have continued 7 years, and we have really wonderful teams who are doing the cleanups from monthly or even weekly or really often. So yes, it's ongoing work.
And that's what we want. We want it to organically grow, people's passions to take over and say, you know what, I'm not going to just limit this to one day. I'm going to do some of this next week, or we're going to do this over 2 days because we can do so much more, or something like that. Ingrid, how are you feeling? You've been working on this for so long. You've been here in the Colin Media Centre all day, running around so busy with your walkie-talkie, giving out to me, keeping everything running smoothly. What has been a standout moment for you?
I mean, besides the fact that there are millions of people out there cleaning right now, we can safely say that about 80 countries are near finishing their cleanups or about to finish them soon. And rest of them, I think over 60, 70 countries are going to start tomorrow or going to continue until tomorrow and into the next week. But what we must not forget is also this place here. It's definitely always a team effort. Nearly 40 people have participated to be able to pull these emotions together into one place and to share it with the world. So it's been a great day of seeing the best team in the world at work.
That's really sweet to say, and you're right, because all these great leaders around the world, it's great for them to have an anchoring and center point for them to report back to. And you can hear how enthusiastic they are when they're calling in with their results. They just want to show you what they're doing, isn't that right?
Absolutely, and it's not just the leaders of the countries, it's all the volunteers. We have an outpour of social media posts saying how happy they are of being part of this event and that they will continue doing the mission and filling it in. So
that's awesome. And what's really cool about this year is that for the first time, it is officially recognized and included on the UN calendar. And that is why Heidi Solberg, who is head of the network and president of Let's Do It World, she went to Norway where they were having a conference. The UN Habitat were having a conference, which we linked to earlier. And I think right now, through the magic of technology, we can go back to Norway and say hello once again to Heidi. There she is. Everyone say hi, Heidi. Hi. Hey, Heidi.
Hello.
Heidi, you've had such a busy day. I know they're with all our friends at the United Nations and linking up with them and sharing your emotions with them, hearing their thoughts. What has been the feedback you've been getting on the World Cleanup Day 2024?
Well, I think with this broadcast and also, of course, showing the emotions and showing the stories of the Let's Do It world about our leaders and the work, what we are doing, I'm absolutely sure that there is more awareness about this big organization who has been run 7 years already, the World Cleanup Day. And I received a lot of feedback from organizations here to say, this is a massive work what you have done. And I'm saying, yes, this is because of the leaders, because it's because of the sense of the family, sense of belonging. Because when we're all working in silos, we cannot achieve really big changes in this world. And we have to collaborate together, not just the NGOs, but also civic movements, but also all the institutions, the organizations. And I think this has been the biggest kind of surprise today. And it's really positive that Let's Do It World organization has been really, really visible. That's great.
And Heidi, what have you thought as you have watched the leaders in the various countries who you have got to know so well over the years? You have seen them in the good times, you've seen them in the bad times, the difficult and challenging times through COVID, of course, and war and different situations. You see them still 7 years on with smiles on their faces and pushing so enthusiastically. How does that make you feel when you see that passion?
it's melting my heart in this way that I think foremost, these people are extraordinary and they are beautiful by the souls, and their belief what they are carrying is so precious actually. And I think when you see within this organization other this type of people and leaders, and you said yes, it's going beyond the cultures and the religions and even the wars, then simply it's something which is giving your empowerment and believe that we can do a lot of things. You know, in the morning I said, or yesterday actually, that nobody believed that we have this network or we can do the World Cleanup Day. Now it's United Nations, we're still doing it, and hopefully we are going to do it. I think this is most important, that we are showing to the world what is a humanity, what is possible to do with really strong collaborations, and actually how we can move forward by working together, also with big organizations, and how we can make the changes as well. Because the cleanup, as we said, is not a change, but it's really great start. And I think we have to go beyond the cleanups now as an organization.
And finally, Heidi, for those watching and for the leaders and for the volunteers and for the collaborators and the partners, what is the one last sentence you want to leave them with here on the show for the World Cleanup Day 2024?
I want to say thank you for everyone. Thank you, Paul.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you, all this beautiful Kola Media Center. Thank you, all our leaders and teams around the world. Thank you, partners as well. And I think if we are doing it together, we can achieve a lot. And I'm really looking forward to work in more stronger way, so we can have lasting change. And that is really important. Thank you for making the World Cleanup Day so big. And let's work each day for our planet, because it's need that.
Heidi Solba, thank you so much. Yes. There she is. Bye, Heidi. We'll talk to you soon. We're finishing our broadcast here for this year, but that does not mean that World Cleanup Day is finished, because as countries are still in different time zones, they will be cleaning for hours still to come. So there's still so much trash that is going to be picked up and cleared. Some countries have finished, some countries are halfway through. The volunteers and the workers will be continuing to work here for the rest of the day and tomorrow as well, and for the next 7,000 years. So we're going to get them a lot of coffee. But for you, thank you for watching this, and thank you to all the leaders and all the volunteers who came out, who took time off work, school, university, from your families to do this, because it is an incredible event. Annette, I'm going to give you the last word. Why not?
Thank you, everybody. I really, really joined this appreciation from all of my heart. Thank you, all the leaders. Thank you, all the team. Thank you, all the people who were here, calm. Also, people behind the screens who you cannot see, but we can see. So thank you, Ingrid, for leading the call center. And thank you, all the leaders and volunteers and everybody who have joined World Cleanup Day this year. Thank you.
From all of us here. There's the guys in the truck as well. Hey, guys.
Yeah.
That's Martin and Mark out there. They've been eating snacks and drinking fizzy drinks all day long, having a great time. So from all of us here in Tallinn in Estonia, thank you so much for watching. And until the World Cleanup Day next year, a big let's do it. Let's do it! Bye, everybody!